Here we have Captain Kuro. I think he's a fan favorite in the One Piece community. People do try to see if they can figure him out, how to make him consistent, how to make him, rough. Because swinging multiple times is a very strong ability. It is a very strong ability. The problem is, it's very inconvenient to do that. And now in this state of the meta, you'd be lucky if you can even keep those characters on the board. God forbid you get hit with a Rob Lucci. Just set you back so far. Kuro's ability is low-key kind of strong to help you close the game out, because if you get that restand, you get to rest a 5. And that's usually a strong blocker. That's kind of the idea. So then you're swinging again. They wanted you to rest characters for the most part, because if you look at other examples of double attack cards, you would have to discard a card. Like there's a Wano event that does it, and the leader kid has to discard a card. So during this time, not discarding a card was, I guess, considered potentially like too much. So they're just like, okay, we're gonna let you rest you're gonna keep the cards in your hand, but you're gonna have to rest 2 characters. And I'm like, well, that's kind of like losing 2 cards in your hand, because you got to put 2 cards on the board just to even use this ability. So if you really think about it, I mean, hey, it's not once per turn. So if you're even lucky enough to be able to use this ability twice, like, whew, that's 4 cards that you got to have on the board, and potentially you have to come to the decision to, like, if you have an impactful card, as in a Krieg, right? Do you want to rest your Krieg to catch this double swing or triple swing? Probably not. But to meet that condition is what's tough. To meet the condition, to keep those characters on the board so you can comfortably swing twice. And then we already know you can't save the little drops. You can't save those low drops. You just can't save them. So essentially, it's like you're going to do it once. Well, let's get to the point. Is this leader ability accessible? I'm going to keep it about no. I don't think it's accessible. I think the game state and the conditions are too demanding, because either you got to put a lot of low drops in your deck and hope that they stay on the board, and it stops you from having more valuable cards in your deck because you got to play these low drops, as well as they have to be East Blue. That's another thing. So until they make like better, more adequate East Blue support, it's like, yo, I'm too restricted here. I can't just throw in a couple of whatevers. So a couple of good on-play characters, a couple of good blockers that I could kind of have sitting on the board until I'm ready. Like, no, they have to be East Blue. So now you're stuck using like vanilla 1-drops, or, a more recent 1-drop 1000 that you're not going to use this ability. Like, you get what I'm saying? So you're drawing essentially a bunch of dead cards. You have to essentially put a lot of dead cards in your deck just to try to use your leader ability. And then how impactful is it going to be? By the time you meet that board state, that requirement to use your leader ability, you'll probably be lucky enough to use your leader ability twice in a game. And if you use your leader ability twice, I'm not talking about in the same turn, I'm talking about just in the game. You're probably behind, you're probably not going to win. Because I don't really see much Kuro matches where, like, yeah, you use your leader ability somewhere early, they clean up the low drops with ease, and then they just start swinging at you, and now you got to try it again. And then it's like, come on. It's too taxing overall. It's not accessible. It's too taxing overall. And maybe they're going to change their mind, because now we see this film Yuta deck going crazy with the double swings. Really like, but that engine is just way stronger. It's an easier requirement because you just got to have the event. And the event works with the leader. So if you're playing the event, you're probably playing the leader. Like, that would be insane to have that in a different deck. But whatever, right? And all it is just you play the 3 Don to play the event and restand your Yuta leader. That's all it is. Very accessible, very easy requirements to meet. And with Yuta and I'm talking about a whole different deck at this point. But the point is, it's just way easier than Krieg. I said Krieg. I mean Kuro.
Now, what I would say is, if they just took out the requirement of using 3 Dawn, you need 2 East Blue characters. If they just took out the requirement of 3 Dawn, then it definitely would make the leader better. You'd be able to swing for higher. Hell, you could even summon something to rest something, and then, you have board presence while also being able to use your leader effect.
I actually agree with that. Yes, I agree with that. Reduce the amount of Don the leader would need. I mean, granted, they would have to like errata it and come out with something or whatever, but maybe if they come out with a character that restands the Don after you play it, essentially you're kind of getting that same pseudo engine there. You know, yeah, that's what they'll have to do. They might also need to come out with either. I mean, hey, everybody's doing it, right? They might need to come out with character cards or whatever that can pull the characters out of the trash and back in play, you know, or more double summons out the hand. But if you do something like that, you're gonna need some sort of draw or to pull from. I mean, he has a 5 life leader, but I think the East Blue set would need like a draw card just to make it like more accessible. But yes, refunding Don, and that could probably be a green thing, because I think there's a few, yeah, there's several green cards in this game that control whether Don is rested or active. So I think that would work. I think a new East Blue set that just helps you with your Don management, which will allow the leader ability to become more accessible, which can then let you get the leader ability off multiple times in a match, which would allow the leader himself to be way more impactful. Because I can tell you right now, sometimes you're going to have games where this is just a vanilla, and you're just a 5 life vanilla leader. And sometimes you're going to have games where you get to use this ability, but it's not really helping you. See, it's just too tough overall. It's too taxing overall. The leader ability, in my personal opinion, is not accessible. There may be a lot of people that want to disagree, but come on. I gotta have 2 cards on the board. They have to stay on the board, and I have to have 3 Don ready to just be able to do this. And then once again, if they did not take those cards off the board, well, guess what? Now I gotta manage to get 2 more. Then you have to make the tough decision of whether you want to rest your bigger bodies, the bigger drops. That's a tougher decision to now make. So like, it's not accessible. And impactful could have been, but it's not impactful. After seeing the leader kid being more accessible and his swinging twice multiple times in a match being more impactful, I hope if they come out with more East Blue support to help this leader specifically, that they make his leader ability way more accessible, because then in turn it would automatically be more impactful. All right, but as of right now, it is what it is.